Imagine you spent hours setting up a server, installing software, configuring everything perfectly. Now your manager asks you to create 50 more servers with the exact same setup. Will you repeat everything again? That's exactly where AWS AMI comes in. In this video, I will show you how to create your own server template, launch unlimited servers in seconds, and how real companies automate this using advanced tools like Image Builder and Packer. Let's understand what AMI is. AMI stands for Amazon Mission Image. It is a template used to launch our EC2 instances. So if a EC2 is a house, then AMI is the blueprint of it. So what does AMI contains? Basically, it has the operating system to run our EC2 and then our installed softwares for running our applications and configurations which are required to run our application and the storage snapshot. Everything required to launch a server is already pre-configured. Coming to the AMI cost structure. AMI is free but uses EBS snapshots behind the scenes. So the cost include for the snapshot storage, and if we copy our AMI from one region to other region, then that cost will be added here. The common AMI use cases are scaling applications, that is in the auto scaling, backup and recovery, and standardizing environments for the fast deployment. This is how companies launch identical servers in seconds. Today, we do have two demos. One is the manual AMI creation, which is very basic level and it is very beginner friendly. So in that we will launch EC2, install our application software like Apache or HTTPD or Java, and create an image from the launched EC2. So it will have the pre-configured application software and the base AMI. So with that created AMI, we will launch a instance and verify that our application is up without installing all the pre-configured softwares in the new AMI. And the second demo is something called EC2 Image Builder Pipeline, which is introduced in 2019 by AWS. So we can do a demo on this EC2 Image Builder Pipeline. Let's get started with this demo one, which is a manual AMI creation. For it, we can quickly launch a EC2. I will choose Amazon Linux as my base AMI and the instance type is t3.micro as always since it is a free tier, my existing key pair and my existing security group. EBS volumes can be same as default and I will quickly launch the instance. Our status check got passed. Connect to our instance quickly. So here we can install the HTTP process sudo yum install -y. This -y is a default S for installing the software. Start the process here. Sudo systemctl start httpd, and if you want to check the status, sudo systemctl status httpd, which shows it is running. Just create an HTML tag here and will replace it in my index.html. While clicking the public IP, then it will show that hello from image builder. Seems the permission got denied, so we need to give sudo su. Okay, so it is showing that hello from image builder. With this, we have installed all these steps manually. Let's see, we can create an AMI from this instance and use to launch a new instance from that created AMI. For it, just click on actions here, image and templates. Just click on create image, the image name. I will give it as AMI. All other settings can be a default one and we can do a create image. In the AMIs, you could see that new image is being created. Status is pending. Once it is available, then we will try to launch a server from this AMI. The AMI which we have created is available now. Let's try to create an EC2 from this image. We can just click on it and do a launch instance from AMI. You can see an option here. If we do so, our application and OS images in this, our AMI will be listed here. Our AMI ID will be listed here. You can verify it. If not also, you can just copy this instance ID and as we always do, you can go to the instance tab and go for launch instance here. Just click on this AMI and do launch instance from AMI here. Here you can name the EC2. You can see that our AMI has been listed here. The instance type of t3.micro, my existing key pair and the existing security group, and then the advanced details. For starting it, we need to give something called ctl start httpd and we should enable this process too. This can be automated here and do a launch instance. The status check is being passed for our new EC2 which we have created from our AMI. You can just verify with this with AMI ID listed below. So if you click it here, be routed to our AMI page here. So you can find that it is the one which we have created. Let's quickly do an HTTPD. So without entering into our EC2, without installing any software, without modifying any HTML tags in our EC2. So that's the power of building an AMI, custom AMI from our existing EC2. This is very basic and it is a beginner friendly method. Let's quickly jump into the demo 2, which is a EC2 image builder pipeline where it will build a AMI. It will handle the infrastructure by its own. For it, we can do a create EC2 image builder pipeline and launch instance from the created AMI. Basically works like it has the image recipe. So this will define what the AMI should contain, like what base AMI it should use, what components to include. The components here is the next. In the component we can write the scripts to install, configure and validate our software. So example like if we need to install Apache, if we need to install Java and copy our application from Maven or copy our application from our local and then start our service, verify our service, everything will be done in this component. So that components will be included in this image recipe, and the block device mapping and the versioning all will be handled by the image recipe. And third one is the infrastructure configuration, where we will define how the AMI is built and what instance type should it use and which IAM role should it use, which VPC, subnet, security group, key pair and tags. Instead of doing it manually, we can configure everything in this pipeline. And the distribution settings is something called where our AMI will be shared between the regions. We can copy our created AMI from one region to other region. That can be handled by this distribution settings. All these process contains inside the image pipeline. So this is the one where we will be creating all these steps, and we can trigger this pipeline manually, or we can make a cron scheduler, or we can schedule it by the time. So this image pipeline will get triggered and it will process all these, will create a AMI for it and launch EC2 with it. So this is how the AWS EC2 image builder will work. Let's see the demo. To avoid confusions and extra cost, I will just terminate all the instances I have created. That's the best practice too. Inside our AMI, you can find the actions where it will show deregister AMI. We can just do delete associated snapshot to do deregister AMI. That is deleting it. So for creating an AWS EC2 image builder, in the AMIs tab, you could find a section called EC2 image builder. You can just go into that, and the EC2 image builder is cost free. That it shows that there is no cost for the EC2 image builder, but other than that, the image builder uses some of the AWS resources. The underlying services will be cost included. For pipeline there is no cost, but for the underlying resources there is a cost that is included, so be aware. So let's quickly create the pipeline for it. Give a pipeline name, pipeline. So this enhanced metadata collection is a EC2 builder uses AWS systems manager. So this is basically SSM. If we deselect it, the collection of additional information from the images created from this pipeline will be disabled. So it can be enabled for now. And as I said, that this pipeline can be triggered in 3 different ways. One is the scheduled builder, do a frequency that day, week or month on day and time. It is based on the time, and there is a con expression which will run our pipeline, and the other one is the manual. So this is very quick and straightforward. So when you need AMI to be built, you can just click on the actions and do run pipeline. So this is what this first general page consists of. So I will just do next. So for logging configuration, there is a default logging will be made. If you want to do a custom log path, you can give it. On the recipe, there is 2 configurations. One is use existing recipe or create a new recipe. So we need to install HTTP, right? So, and we don't have any existing recipe, we need to create one. Just do create new recipe, and the image type should be AMI, not a Docker image. So select AMI and give a recipe name. Here I will do HTTPD recipe. So basically the recipe means the ingredients, right? So we are going to give ingredients like what are all the services should be installed, what all the services should be enabled, and what file should be installed there. We can select the images in 4 ways. One is the select managed images, where we can select our OS, and if we do a quick start, our images owned by me, we will list down the list of images here. So I will choose Amazon Linux, and the image type can be Linux 2023. So if you want to if you have subscribed to the AWS Market Space images, then it will appear here. But I haven't subscribed to any of the images before, so it doesn't appear for me. If you do so, it will appear. And a custom AMI, which is copy our AMI ID which we need, and just do an enter here. It will make this as a base AMI, or the import base AMI. It is different OSs will be listed here, and it can be imported here. So I will do a straightforward one, which is select managed images, where it is Amazon Linux and Linux 2023. So I have chosen the latest version available. So this instance configuration is the SSM setting that can be as default. Defaultly we can connect to the SSM, right? So that can be as default. If you want to remove it, you can just remove SSM agent after pipeline execution if you don't want it. The working directory is a default, is temporary. If you want to do a change here, you can just do something called slash EC2 or slash user, like that you can change it. And the components is something very important, where I told you, right? So this components will have the installed software or validate the file. So we need to create a component here. For if you have a existing one, just do a create a component here, httpd component. The version can be the default. If you want to change, you can change. So the operating system can be Linux, and the compatible OS version is optional. If you want to, you can select, or else it will take a default one. In this you can see a definition document, right? So here you can define your own JSON file, or build example. So it will create a example JSON file where it shows echo world build, or echo world validate, or echo world test. So these are the JSON configuration that it is provided by them for the example purpose. So I have my own JSON file here. For installing the HTTPD, I have a JSON file where it will install our HTTPD, and enable our HTTPD, and it will just replace our private IP into our index.html file, where it shows hello from image builder, our private IP. This is what our component will do here. So I will do create component. A new component has been handed here. Here we can just owned by me. You can see that a component for HTTPD is there. Just do add to recipe. So this component has been added to our pipeline, and the storage volume can be a default one, and it can also, if we want to disable this checkbox for deleting on termination, that can also be done, but I'm doing it as a default one. Here define image creation process. So the default workflow will use service default build and test workflows combination. If we want a custom workflow, combine the custom builds and test workflows of our choice, we can also build that in our own. So for now, I will do a default workflow and the infrastructure configurations. So this is where we can configure what kind of EC2 type we need to use, how many EC2 we need to launch during the pipeline. So all these can be handled here. On create new infrastructure configuration, you could see what kind of EC2 type you need here. You can see that t3.micro can be added here. For it we need to give a SNS topic, and VPC security group. All these can be handled here. If I do a default VPC, this can be optional, but the security group is mandatory. All these can be done here with create new infrastructure configuration, or if you have created the existing configuration, you can also use the existing infrastructure configuration, but I don't have any. So I'm going to create this pipeline as a default one. So here create infrastructure configuration using service default, where it won't have any VPC or what kind of instance type. All these will not be available here since I'm using the system default. If we want to use a custom one, we can create a new infrastructure. And this is the distribution settings where we can share our created image to an other region. So if we do a create distribution settings, we can just add a region here and just copy this image from AP South 1 to South 2 to South 1. That can be done here, but I am just leaving to using a default one. Review it. Reason being security scanning is disabled because I haven't enabled the EC2 Amazon inspector, where it will scan for the vulnerability and it will shows in our pipeline. So I haven't enabled it, so it shows that it has been disabled. We have created our pipeline. So this is how our pipeline will look. So this is our image recipe. If you go to the image pipelines, you could see that AMI pipeline for HTTPD, which we have created. So this can be run using actions run pipeline. For viewing the execution, you can just go to the workflow tab, where it will show all the steps. So basically what it does is it will create a new instance and then install all our needs in that instance and create an AMI from it. So what we have done in the last demo, it will do automatically using this step function. So let's wait for all these steps to be succeeded, and we can see that AMI has been created in our EC2 page. If you see here, our all the steps have been completed, and in the AMIs refresh it, you could see that a new image has been created. So this is how we will create an AMI. So with this AMI we can launch our instance, and our AMI will be picked here and launch our instance. So the status check is being passed here. Let's quickly try to reach our public IP from here. Do http // so it is showing that hello from image builder and the private IP. So this is how our we can create an AMI using the pipeline. And to do one step more, we can actually launch instances on the same EC2 builder pipeline too. Now you understand how AMIs help in launching servers instantly and maintaining consistency in AWS environments. In the next video, we will go deeper into networking and understand a very important concept, the difference between private IP and public IP in AWS. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to TechGuide.